The way you think, the way you make decisions, the way you lose control or feel sudden anger. There's a chance one man had a hand in that. This is not an exaggeration. That man was Thomas Midgley Jr. Midgley was the son of an inventor, the grandson of a steel baron. From the very beginning, his life was built around one expectation: to fix things. But there was a problem. He had a dangerous tendency to solve the wrong problems. Let's go back to the 1920s. Cars were loud. Engines suffered from something called knocking. Fuel was igniting at the wrong moment inside the piston. The result? Poor performance, short engine life, and a driving experience that felt like shaking a box of rocks. The automotive industry wanted a solution. Midgley was given the task, and to be fair, he worked relentlessly. He tested more than 33,000 chemical compounds, alcohols, metals, aromatics, and eventually he found it: tetraethyl, lead. It was cheap, it was effective, and only moderately deadly. Engine knocking almost disappeared. Cars became quieter. The industry celebrated. The story could have ended there. But it didn't, because there was a detail everyone already knew. Lead is toxic. Who knew this? The ancient Romans. They used lead in their plumbing systems and witnessed the consequences: neurological damage, behavioral changes, mass poisoning. So in the 1920s, no one could honestly say we didn't know. At ethyl corporation factories, workers began experiencing hallucinations, delirium, psychosis, deaths. The workers gave the place a nickname: the Loony Gas Building. And Midgley? He wasn't spared. He suffered serious lead poisoning himself and had to take medical leave to recover. This wasn't theoretical, he lived it. But they didn't stop. A decision was made. It wasn't scientific, it wasn't ethical, it was strategic communication. General Motors and Standard Oil launched a massive PR campaign, saying lead is dangerous would have been inconvenient, so they changed the name. Not tetraethyl lead, just ethyl. Softer, cleaner, more harmless sounding. Midgley went on camera. He poured the fuel on his hands. He inhaled the vapors. "See?" he said. "It's safe." Science went silent. Marketing spoke. And then it happened. Lead entered the air, the soil, the water. But most importantly,
poisoning is especially harmful to children, and it is irreversible.
It entered children. In the developing brain, lead mimics calcium. The body mistakes it for something essential and absorbs it directly into neural tissue. In a child's brain, this is catastrophic. The result: lower IQ, attention disorders, loss of impulse control, increased aggression. The prefrontal cortex is damaged. Decision-making, behavioral regulation, empathy, all compromised. An entire generation's brain chemistry was quietly rewritten. Slowly, silently, irreversibly.
There are no known effective drugs to reverse the developmental damage caused by lead. Something called chelation therapy can remove lead from the body, but so far it has not been helpful in treating the behavioral or neurological problems caused.
Some researchers later noticed something chilling. The crime wave that exploded in the 1970s showed a correlation with childhood lead exposure from 20 years earlier. Some went even further: increases in serial killers, waves of social violence. Is all of this proven beyond doubt? No. But one thing is certain. Midgley didn't just change engines. He changed behavior. It could have ended there, but it didn't. Now it's the 1930s. refrigerators. The cooling gases of the time were toxic, flammable, explosive. People were dying in their homes. Once again, Midgley found a solution.
Is your kitchen as modern and up-to-date as this one? To begin with, have you modern refrigeration? In this attractive kitchen, a touch of the toe opens the door to proper food preservation. For this new GE flat-top refrigerator is as modern as today. It's called the aristocrat of modern refrigerator styling. Notice those convenient sliding shelves, a stainless steel super freezer.
Chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. Freon, odorless, non-toxic, non-flammable, and devastating to the ozone layer. A single chlorine atom can destroy 100,000 ozone molecules. You know the result, the ozone hole. Rising cancer rates, ecosystem collapse. Without the Montreal Protocol, you might not be watching this video right now.
The Montreal Protocol.
The story of the Montreal Protocol is in some ways also the story of the 20th century. Something that was a great invention, namely a chemical chlorofluorocarbon, had unintended consequences that suddenly became a planetary problem.
So let's stop and ask the uncomfortable question. Was Midgley a bad man? No. But that's not the point. He solved the wrong problems. He chose short-term success. He never fully tested long-term consequences. And he followed incentives. Not the safest solution, but the patentable one. Ethanol also worked, but it wasn't profitable. Ethyl was. Once again, science stepped aside. Midgley paid a price too. At 51, he was left partially paralyzed due to lead exposure. Unable to move freely, he invented a system of pulleys and ropes to lift himself out of bed. One day, the system failed. He strangled himself, a death worthy of a Greek tragedy. Because good intentions do not absolve science, every era has its Midgley. Well-educated, well-paid, narrowly focused, and always saying, "We'll fix the consequences later." But some things cannot be fixed later. Some costs are paid by generations, and some names are never remembered. You didn't know this man, but you may be carrying his legacy, and now that you know, you're no longer innocent.